For Daniel, the house was a fortress. At the dead of night, with every door locked and the rest of the street silent, there was no reason to feel anything but secure. Then, his phone lit up the nightstand. A motion alert. Something had crossed the perimeter of his front porch. He checked the notification. The system logged the event at exactly 2:17 a.m. Daniel opened the feed. There was a man standing on the porch. He wasn't reaching for the handle or looking for a way in. He was just standing there, motionless, staring directly into the lens. Having a camera provides a sense of detachment. As long as Daniel was watching the man through a screen, he was a witness to the event, rather than a participant in it. The locked door felt like an absolute barrier. Daniel zoomed in on the black and white image, trying to make out a face, a motive, anything that made sense. The man's face was entirely static. No muscle movement, no reaction to the wind, and no blinking. He looked less like a person waiting, more like a photograph propped up before the door. A second notification pinged. The timestamp hadn't moved. It was still 2:17 a.m. Digital logs are sequential. To trigger a second alert without the clock advancing, the system was reporting 2 moments existing at the exact same time. He tapped the second clip. The man was suddenly much closer, his face now filling the entire frame, though the video showed no footage of him actually walking across the porch. The software was no longer providing a reliable record of what was happening outside. It was capturing a sequence of movements that the hardware insisted were occurring in a single, frozen moment. A third alert arrived. It was 2:17 a.m. The time refused to change. Daniel opened the third clip. The porch was empty. The man was gone. But in the corner of the frame, the heavy front door was no longer flush. It was resting open by a few inches. Daniel lived alone. He had turned the deadbolt himself before going to bed. He looked away from the screen and toward the bedroom door. The safety of the digital interface was gone. The draft from the open front door was already pulling through the house. Daniel stepped into the hallway, his phone held out like a shield. He stopped moving, trying to hear anything over the sound of his own pulse. There was a shift in the air, a slow, heavy weight pressing down on the floorboards just out of sight. Something was sharing the hallway. The phone buzzed one last time. A final notification. Motion detected. Living room. He forced himself to look down at the screen, tapping the live internal feed. The camera showed the hallway. It showed Daniel, standing perfectly still, his face washed out by the blue light of his phone. And right behind him, so close their shoulders were nearly touching, was the man from the porch. His expression had finally changed. He was smiling. We rely on surveillance to give us a head start, but the ultimate betrayal of the technology is that it doesn't always warn you of what's coming. Sometimes it just forces you to watch what's already happening.